All right, here we are back at Grille Beach in St. Pete, Florida, and this is going to be part 2 of the Mass Stranding Epic Shell Day excursion. This day was February 13th, right before Valentine's Day, following 2 days of severe wind and high surf and rip current advisory. The result of that was we had a bunch of things washing on the beach. We had a lot of live critter encounters, and we got to take home lots of great shells too. Let's go check and see what else we found, and then show you how to clean some of these urchins up. All kinds of shellers out today. Look at the beach. Look at those waves. So this swell is going to continue to bring stuff into us even though it's calmed down from yesterday. So shelling up here should be good for the next 3 days at least. Very, very good sized prickly cockles around here. Look at that. Wow. Another Dulcinea. I like it when a wave comes up and gets everything wet, and then you can see what colors things really are. Look at the colors on these two. Don't even worry about that yucky stuff. That'll pop all off of there. What a beautiful pair of shells. That one's pretty. Alright, so I wanted to find some tinies today. Maybe I'm not at the right stretch of beach for it yet. I'm not seeing really what I came looking for. And that's okay. I mean, take what the ocean gives me, but I was hoping to find some small tulips and some small murexes and some augurs and serifs and things like that. So maybe if we get a little further up the way. In the meantime, I kind of wanted to shell in the water, but you can't see a thing. It's just too churned up still. That pretty little color. Beautiful. And that beautiful little talon shell. Very nice. There's just so much to look at. Look at that nice dark sunray Venus. That's fun. That really good sized Dulcinea. I like that. Pretty little white guy. I like that. Ooh. And this little one here too with the brick and that yellow color. Boy, there is some pretty stuff out here today. Oh, wow. We do not get these here very often. That's an angel wing right there. Hoping maybe I'll find a few more of those. That's fun. It's a little broken, but that's okay. Picked up a simile here. Oh, look how pretty that is inside. Look at that purple color inside. That's gorgeous. Look at this little calico clam. Instead of the dark browns that we normally see, look at those oranges in there. That's pretty. And we got a little tulip up here. Looks like he's seen better days, but that's okay. I can still use him. A little sunray Venus clam that somebody already drilled a hole in. It's a beveled edge hole, so I'm gonna say maybe a moon snail did that. Finding some of these little purple guys. Yay! I need some of these. Just piles everywhere. Ooh, this is fun. Top off of a tulip. I like that. So I think our little low tide, mid tide thing is about over, and it looks like the waves are starting to push the piles back in. We'll be looking for more of this stuff too. Awesome. There's some nice orange. That'll clean up too. Yep. Love that. And that's pretty, actually. Giant heart cockle that's not going to grow up. It's still a very pretty shell. Oh, there's a nice orange and white one in there too. I like that one. And this little guy just washed in. He's still wet. Beautiful little lightning whelk. There's a cute little guy. And that tiny little sand dollar right there. That's gorgeous. Love it. And a piece of that nice nacre I like. And a couple of these guys that I like too, with the purple on them. Oh, that broke. There's another Talon. Another one of those purple guys. Man, so much cool stuff today. This is awesome. Oh, another big operculum. It does have some egg casing from horse conchs on it. And they're shiny, but they're dry. They're really, really dry. I think we're gonna keep this and take this home. Oh, there's one of the little mangrove trees with stuff stuck to it all over the place. I do like those. Alright, I'm gonna try to kind of keep the wind off the microphone so you can at least hear me. The big swell is not really over. You can see the waves still smashing into the jetty down there. And I think I'm going to try my luck on the Bayside and get out of some of this wind and some of the noise, hopefully. That's a pretty orange too. Oh. Wow. Hey, there's a little horse conch. Awesome. I'm literally sinking in shells. Pen shell nacre there. There's another one. Yay! Okay, I've made it to the other side of Pass the Grille. Last time I was here was New Year's Day. It was all foggy. Couldn't see across the channel. But it was also quiet and not windy and not a lot of waves. There's a ton of waves on the other side, so I'm gonna check over here and see if there's anything to be found where it's quieter. Had such good luck here last time. I think it's worth a shot. Now the tide is coming in though, so, and it's already 10:30, we're past our little low point. And things are churned up today, so I'm not sure I'm gonna actually even be able to shell in the water here. I can't see a thing. Well, all the crazy stuff that's on the other side hasn't made its way around the point yet, apparently, unless it's in the water. A lot less over here than the last time I was here. Oh, a little hinged crossbar Venus though. Could take that. Look how pretty and bright white that one is. That's nice. That's got a really nice blue-green color to it. It's kind of beautiful. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. A little bit of everything, everywhere. Oh, that's a nice bay. take that one. Last time I was over here, this little spot was good for horse conchs. So we're hoping I can find a few of those guys today. Oh, broke the moon. And that is beautiful. Look at that brown with the yellow and the orange. Oh, wow. Nice. And I can see I'm getting back toward those urchins already. Looks like there's a bunch rolling around in the water. Let's go check over here in the shade, maybe. Lots of urchins. Lots of stuff all over. Never seen so many sea urchins ever. Bigger sea urchins, because they do make stuff out of these. And I've got lots of littles. Ooh, that guy's a nice one. That one too. Wow. Just wow. Oh, this guy is interesting. This is a hard urchin, and we're going to zoom in and take a look at that hole on the side there. Inside, you'll see some of its gill infiltration structures. This is a deep water urchin, resides about 50 to 400 meters down, and a relatively rare find for our beaches here. Urchin Palooza. Look at this with the pink and the gray. And this one with the light and dark purple. A different kind of purple. This one's got the lighter pink on it. There's a nice dark one. Another nice dark one. This is unreal. I can't imagine what somebody that isn't from here is thinking looking at this, because I'm from here and I'm floored right now. Absolutely floored. I was hoping to find more than just urchins today, but you know what? When the ocean's giving you something, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. When they're available is when you collect them, because later you might not find them. The colors, the array of sizes is just absolutely astonishing. And another little bag full already. Can't get over this. Just how many, and how many nice ones. My stock on the bigger ones was depleted. I'm kind of glad I stopped here today. I was totally going to go to a different spot. This little body got stuck up here, the high part of stuff, and his little legs are still going on the back. He's still moving, so I'm going to bring him to the water. I feel bad for these guys. They had a rough night. Let's get you back where you're damp a little, buddy. There you go. Ooh, that's a beauty. Wow. Here, little friend. I want to put him right back all the way in the water. I'll just wash back in. Let him get splashed so he makes it until the tide comes back. Nice and flat and that light color. That's pretty. Look at this. This is just, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. Look at this. Whoa. Look at these guys. That one's beautiful. Look at that nice light color. It's nice and purple. That one's nice and dark. The general consensus from people seems to be no one has ever seen anything like this. Like this mass beaching event is what we would call it. And again, these guys without their spines, definitely expired. Can be collected if you don't mind dealing with the smell and the cleanup, which I don't. The color on that, the tan and the green, wow. Unbelievable. And the water is just full still. Oh, look at this nice dark guy over here. Missing half the spines on his top though, so he is expired. You can see he's already got holes in his little membrane down there. This is a slightly different variety than what we have normally washing up here, the red. And the thing is, if you don't collect these when you see them, you may not see them again for quite a while. Oh wow, there's another one of those 6-leg stars up there in the pile too. Thing is moving this pile of stuff, and I don't know what is. It might be that heart cockle. Yep, he's still alive in there. Urchin Palooza today. I've never seen this many wash in like this. I mean, the tide's going to be coming back in a little while anyway, but yeah. That tulip. Big murex. Cool. Look at these guys. And look at the color of that. It's the lip off of a fighting conch before it got thick. Look at that purple. Wow. Yep, we'll take those guys too. This bag's getting too heavy to carry. I think it's time to head back to the car. That sherbety orange on the inside of that cockle. Wow. Well, I think I've had all I can physically do today to collect down here. Well, what an incredible day it's been down here at Pass Grille, and continues to be. Live critter encounters everywhere. All sorts of stuff washed up. I got a nice big bag of sea urchins for doing things with. And it's been a really good haul. Let's get this stuff home and cleaned up. This is one of those days you just say to yourself, did that just actually happen? Did I just really get all of these great urchins and other shells and sea whips? Did this really actually happen? If I didn't have it on camera, I'm not sure if people would actually believe it. But the word's getting around. More people are now here at Pass Grille than have been here since this morning. And everybody is coming to collect what they can. So I've got this guy is full of urchins. And some of these will break before I get them home. It's just the nature of it. This is full of urchins, and then the urchins I collected earlier. So what a haul. And thanks for joining. Let's get this stuff back to the house and cleaned up and show you what we found. Okay, I just want to make it clear. That never happens unless we have an enormous storm swell come in. And with the 5 to 7 foot waves that we were having yesterday, and you can tell because stuff was washed way up above the high line against the bottom of the dunes. So a lot of things got washed in. There was amazing, amazing finds to be had today. Loads of critter encounters. Once again, pass the grill. Gift that keeps on giving. Wow, this is the first time I've had to do this on the floor and not on my table because I brought so much stuff home. This is our haul from the Pass a Grill Mass Stranding Day. And let's take a look at some of the fun stuff that we found. Start over here. We've got a sailor's ear, a Texas telin, fat Atlantic telin, an egg cockle, and 3 similes. We have hinged Dulcineas, 3 of the operculum, a nice selection of whelks, including little ones, and this big boy right here. This guy's pretty beefy. He's pretty awesome. We got some hinged Sunray Venus clams back here. A very nice selection of tulips, actually, and these 2 are my favorite. I'm not sure from the color, but I think they might be true tulips as opposed to banded tulips, which these guys are definitely banded tulips. So I think these might be a couple of trues, and that's a broken piece of a true tulip along with them. Something we never find up here, pieces of angel wings. I have yet to find a whole angel wing shell anywhere around here. There's some of that pen shell nacre that I've been collecting. We have some calico clams, buttercup lucines, a really nice alphabet cone, big boy, chestnut turbans, sereths and augurs, a horse conch, and a couple of cantharus shells. This is a hinged spiny jewel box here. This is a baby's ear, a couple of tinted cantharuses, an orange jingle. Really nice selection of Florida fighting conchs too. And wanted you to just see, it doesn't matter if they're young, they still will have their these little spikes, knobs we call them. And this one is a knobless. There's none on there at all. Then we move on to some lettered olives, a couple of slipper snails here, some moon snails, and a nice selection of apple murex shells that we could actually take home. This guy was pretty dark when I grabbed him. Sitting in the bleach really straightened him out. We got some worm snails here. This is a vertebrae to a fish of some sort. I have no idea what this actually is. These guys go over here. Some coral, and then these bryozoan colonies, which were also pretty cool. They're like coral, but a lot lighter weight. And we've got the giant heart cockles, all kinds of really colorful calico scallops, including these golden and brown ones here, which I thought were very cool. These over here are bay scallops. And down here we've got those horse mussels with the purple in them that I like. I think they're actually an American Southern mussel, it's actually called. We have some hinged crossbar Venus, 1 rough scallop, and some hinged prickly cockles. Just pan back around over that so you can see it all. And this time through, I'm not going to make any jewelry from any of this stuff right just yet, because we've been working on processing sea urchins. So I brought home a really big pile of sea urchins, and now I'm going to show you exactly what I do. Me personally, I mean, everybody else has their own way of doing it, I guess, but I'm going to show you what I do to clean my sea urchins up so that I can use them to make neat things. So this is a batch of urchins I found maybe about a month or so ago, and they've been sitting out here inside this cardboard box. You can see they're just outside. There's leaves in there and other stuff. What happens with these guys is if you leave them alone and leave them outside, the ants will pick the insides pretty clean for you and make cleanup a lot easier once they're dried out. So I take my urchins fresh from the ocean. I don't put them in fresh water. I don't put them in salt water. I don't put them in bleach. I just take and I put them in this box to let them dry out. And I do so after I poke a hole in the little thin membrane that holds their Aristotle's lantern in place. See, if you look inside this one, you can see his little mouth parts right there. The Aristotle's lantern has broken loose. The skin membrane is gone now. And all of that icky stuff that was wet and gross in there is taken care of. So these urchins have been sitting for about a month, and they're ready for me to take out of there and just get them cleaned up and bleached and ready to be dipped. So I'm going to take these guys out of this box, and I'm going to put the new haul of the fresh urchins from yesterday at Grille into the box to sit for a while. All right, I've got a 5-gallon pail here. I'm going to put a lot of bleach into it. It's enough to just about cover the bottom. And I'm going to bring the water about halfway up. Okay, that ought to do it. I'm sitting on the ground with my box of urchins here. Bucket of bleach water. See these little ant holes right here? Yeah, that's these guys. They're gonna clean up your urchins better than you ever thought they would. It's actually a nice solution to have Mother Nature help you out a little bit, since they are fragile and difficult to clean. Now, after they've sat for a while, like these have, they're really fragile. They're really, really dry. You can just take and just pop those little needles right off of them. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. Now I'm looking at this one because it feels weird and rattly, and I can see inside already that the body has a whole crack in it. So this one's probably not going to hold up to the processing. Yeah, all you need to do is just rub it. See? These little needles come right off. They're little spines, they're called. Now when I found these guys, these were washed up in a high rack line, and they were definitely had lost about half their needles already, but they've been very quietly drying in this little box, so nothing else came off of them or anything. Here's part of that little membrane that holds the Aristotle's lantern in, a little round membrane that goes around the bottom that the teeth sort of nestle into, kind of. As you can see, it's popping right off of there, no problem. And there's a little piece of coral that was stuck in there. I didn't even know that was there. Okay, cool. Bonus coral. Yeah, that little piece was dried into there. Just gonna poke and pick at that. I'll shake the little Aristotle's lantern pieces out. I know some people save them, but I really don't have anything that I do with them, so I don't bother saving them. So what you have is 5 little pieces kind of all stuck together with little tendons and ligaments and stuff, and this opens and closes like this. So imagine all 5 of them doing that, and that's how the urchins eat. Somebody asked me once, how do you keep this from smelling? After that first day when you initially bring them home, they have a bit of an odor the first couple of days, but leaving them inside this box seemed to keep everything from being all smelled up, I guess. And honestly, I just had them out in the back, didn't even notice that they were there after a day. Like, you didn't even smell them anymore. It seems like just leaving them out here in the box, letting the ants do their thing, worked pretty well. So this guy here, ready to go into the bleach water, and is gonna get the bubbles out. That way it'll sink, and stay in there. And I leave mine for roughly 24 hours. I don't pull them quick. I let them sit in there, make sure they're good and clean and good and bleached. And then if there is anything extra left inside, I'll let them dry back out again and take a pick to them, pick anything that might be left inside out of them. But normally I don't have to do that because the ants do a great job. Make this a little faster. I'm gonna try out my Dremel. I have my Dremel with a little wire brush here, and I think this might work as long as you don't press too hard on things. Let's find out. I've got my goggles on and my mask. Let's see how this works. Ooh. Well, you gotta make sure you don't drop it, but this seems to work rather nice. A lot faster than doing it with your fingernails, that's for sure. This works excellent. Just have to be very careful with it and run it on very slow speed. Heck yeah! Awesome. Well, that's going to make this a lot faster. Doing this, that there's kind of like an extra little layer that's sort of making them a reddish brownish tone. Near as I can tell, urchins have that membrane down at the bottom, yes, but there's also a really thin one that covers their whole body. And you'll notice this after you've taken all the spines off of one and you get it wet and you let it soak, that there's almost like a white filminess on the outside of the urchin. That's that little thin membrane of whatever it is. And I'm hoping that scraping all of this will keep us from having that problem, and that they'll be even more colorful and vibrant because there won't be that extra layer on them. But as I take, and I'm doing this on the slowest speed, see, just the first setting. So I'm going to take and do half of this guy. And I'll brush the spines off the other half, but I won't Dremel it, so that you can see the difference. Alright. So I've got this guy about halfway done. Pull his little needles off too. And you can see, I mean, sure, it looks cleaned up and better than that, but that even looks better still. Let's see what happens when we get it wet. Okay, yeah, you can see how much cleaner that it is on this side over here where we've scraped it with the Dremel. Even being cleaned up, there's still like a little filminess, almost like a little bit of green stuff. Uh-oh, this guy broke. Bummer. But yeah, that filmy, yucky stuff turns into kind of like a white film when you get them wet. And taking that off makes them look a lot better. Let's take one of the ones out of the bucket. Now you can really see the difference. See how that doesn't really look clean yet? And that one does. So it's worth this extra step to Dremel them. It makes it look a lot better. Okay, so I'm taking these urchins breaking a hole in the bottom so the membrane's broken, dumping the water and what goo I can get out of them, and then I'm setting them in this cardboard box, and there they're going to stay until they're dry and I can work more with them. I can already see ants coming over to the bags though, so they're looking forward to their clean out duties, I guess. Okay, back at the urchin cleaning today. Alright, so these are the ones that you saw that got scuffed and needles brought off of them yesterday. And we'll just, you know, empty some of the weird stuff out of them, because there's a little bit of little bits and pieces still in there. Now you see too why I do the Dremel. See this kind of thick stuff here? This is part of that outer membrane I was talking about, and I still didn't quite get all of that, so once that one's rinsed and dried, I'll probably Dremel it again. I'm taking them out of the bleach water and putting them in some fresh water to set. And you can see some of the colors of these are really coming out nice. Look at all this different stuff. These light colored ones, the purple and green color. So yeah, kind of fun. And there is a video where there's a gal from out in California that says if you leave your purple urchins in bleach too long, it'll make them green. I have not found that to be the case on the Florida Gulf Coast. We have some that are green, some that are purple. Okay, so it looks like these came out pretty good. Look at all these different colors of these guys. Aren't they beautiful? Purple and green, all purple, and this tannish kind of color. Oh man, these are cool. This is half of the haul, the rest being sea urchins, obviously. So we've got a couple of other things here in the little fragiles container, including some sand dollars. I already have in some bleach. So right now these are just gonna get a little preliminary soak, a little bit of bleachy water to rinse the sand off and get the stink from the urchins off of them. Nice. Okay, got everything covered. Now for a little bleach. And just give it make sure everything's all mixed up. These were some of the sea whip pieces that I found that day. 3 separate pieces of that, so that's going to be used in an upcoming project too. Not for jewelry, but still fun. Another one of the finds from the beach at Paso Grille is this. Now this guy, he sort of looks like a cross between a sea urchin and a sand dollar. He's a kind of an echinoid, and he's a deep water one. That's why we don't usually see these guys on our beaches, but folks refer to them as sea potatoes, I believe. But it's another form of an echinoid, and it's a little icky inside there. So I'm gonna put that guy in the bleach as well. Did you know that sand dollars can float? If they have enough air trapped up here and there's no hole in the center, then yeah, they'll sit there on the top of the water. This guy I want to sink because I need him to get clean. Alright, here's some of the ones we started processing from Grille last night. And you can see now that they're a little drier, how different some of the colors are on them. Got these guys that are going to be really purple. These guys going to be green. Here's a green and pink. These guys had kind of like a tan thing going on. So all I did was I popped the hole in the bottom and took the yucky stuff out. And I just set them here to dry. You can see there's flies all over the place. There's going to be ants all over the place too. And what they're going to do is crawl around inside and eat all the little icky bits that you can't get out by hand. So I'm going to leave these guys out here for like a month. Let the ants get at them in and around them. Clean them out real good. Then they'll get rinsed and bleached and dried again. Then dipped to solidify them. Alright, let's talk about these urchins for a minute. I got these on Monday. It is now Wednesday. I processed a bunch of them yesterday. They're already down there. And as you can see, you know, some of them broke. That happens. And yes, they draw a lot of flies. That happens too. Just the nature of the beast. What I wanted to show you though is how beautiful some of the colors already are. When you pick them up off the beach, they all pretty much just look purple. But we've got green in here, tan and pink, purple and green, lavender. There's all different colors. So once these are all cleaned up, they're gonna look really nice. Let's talk a second about these guys here too. This is a different species of urchin. It has different kinds of needles and it is much darker, almost like a black as opposed to a purple. So I have 3 of these guys. We'll see how they hold up to the processing and how they come out later too. Alright, the pile's a lot smaller. Only got a few more to go. Box is getting nice and full. So yeah, cleaning urchins, not my favorite job. Not gonna lie, not my favorite thing to do. But I make some really cool stuff out of them. So it's a dirty, nasty job, but it's sure a lot cheaper than buying them in the store. So there you go. And there we have it. All of the urchins are processed now. And when I say processed, I don't mean, you know, finished. They've got their bottom knocked out of them and the Aristotle's lantern and the goo removed. And then you can already see ants starting to crawl on them. There's some more over here. And yes, the ants are starting to find them now. And what they're gonna do is go in and eat all of that little gooey stuff that's left inside there. So I'm gonna leave these out here for a couple of weeks, keep them dry. If it's gonna rain, I'll put them under cover so they don't get wet. And I didn't put any cleaner or anything like that on them because I want the ants to help me. If I use any kind of cleaner, the ants will not touch them. And now we're gonna process some that have already been dried and sitting for a while. These guys, I didn't do anything to them. I didn't even take the bottoms out. I just left them in a box for like a month. And the ants did their thing, dried them all out, all their needles fell off. So it makes cleanup a lot easier. what I am going to do is, just like I was doing yesterday. Uh-oh, did I drop? I did. I dropped and broke one. Oops. No problems. I got tons of them. So what I'm going to do now is take the wire wheel to them on the slow speed and just get that last little bit of needles and stuff off of them, and that membrane kind of covering that gives them that dark color, and that'll come right off. Hold on tight or zing! And that is why we hold on tightly, so that the urchin doesn't go flying when you're doing this with the power tool. I mean, look at that. It's so worth doing. So worth doing. Woo! Gosh, what an improvement. Alright, that looks awesome. And into the bleach water that's going to go. And one down, about 40 or so to go. Okay, now we're going to show the next step in the urchin processing. Once they've been rinsed and bleached and had all the junk gotten off the inside, they're nice, you know, they're in good shape, but they could be a little stronger, especially for someone like me who's going to be doing artwork with them. So the last little step that we go for is a dip in a half and half solution of Elmer's glue and water. So I already put some of this in here, and it can be the school glue, it can be the clear, it can be anything, it doesn't matter. It all does the same stuff. So I filled my container halfway up with glue because I'm going to submerge these right in this stuff. And I'm going to add some water and stir this up so it thins it down. Should give us about half and half right there. And just keep stirring the bottom. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so this is ready. I keep this little sponge brush handy just for dabbing the drips, because invariably there's going to be drips. And I have a bunch of paper clips that I have opened and bent, because what I'm going to do is dip these guys in here, then hang them to dry over here on this little rack. And that way I don't have to worry about flipping them over and whatnot. I'll just take and do this and turn them, and this way I make sure I got stuff on the inside and outside so everything's nice and sealed. Alright, I am going to try this with one glove. Normally I don't care and I just put my fingers in it, but this is a little messy and I don't want to get glue all over the GoPro, so alright, get my mat slid over here. My hook's ready to go. Get them untangled. Alright. Now I've got this little plastic mat down because this is a little bit messy the way I do it, but I don't mind the mess, really. As you can see, I'm just putting it all in here, getting some on the inside, swirling it around. Let the extra drain out. And then I put my hook in here and hang it just like that. And so I put them on the rack and then I slide them toward the end so I can just keep hanging stuff. And that's all you really need to do. I don't want that little bubble on the top, so I just blow on it, pop that, turn this all the way around, add a hook, and see if there's extra. It's just gonna drip over the urchin and then just drip right off. Okay, I've got a few of them dipped now, and you can see them all just hanging out down back there too. And you should be noticing that the colors are a lot prettier now than they were when they were dry. Alright, and I'm just going underneath these guys. I'm just dabbing that little extra glue drip so they don't end up with a little dried bubble of glue on the bottom. And in a little while, when they're a little more dry, I'll go ahead and turn them as well, flip them 180 degrees. And they won't take really a long time to dry. We've got a nice 10 to 15 mile an hour breeze today blowing, so the wind should get these guys dried off pretty quickly for us. And this is just one of those old school, like your grandma had, clothes drying racks. And I got clothes drying racks plus this little foam brush and paper clip hangers. And this will allow me to actually dip and dry a couple hundred urchins at a time, no problem. So that's why I have this crazy looking little setup down here. And then down below, I've got a little towel to pick up all the drips of the glue so it doesn't get all over my patio. Kind of just want to show the difference in the color between these guys. Here's what they're like dry. And then with a coat of glue on them, even though it's not dry yet, look how much more vibrant the color is. It makes them so much prettier, and it makes them sturdier too, so you can actually do a few things with them. Alright, I need to turn the urchins and just spin them. And this glove is a little tacky and full of glue, so I don't want to do that. I take my brush, and I go back across the bottom, grab the drips, and then we're going to turn them. And then we'll keep going on this little pile over here, which is already getting quite a bit smaller. And I tend to hang things up toward the back first, so that line actually is the line that's ready to be turned. I'm grabbing a little bit of extra glue off of them. And there's quite a bit less this time around because most of it's dripped off. That's why you don't want to work too thick with this stuff. You want to let it drip off. Oh, some of those little tiny ones are just the cutest thing ever. So adorable. Okay, put that over here and rinse it in a second. And then all I do is I just lift them off of their hook and turn them. Just spin them. And keep them spaced so they don't touch. Ooh. Alright, this guy doesn't want to turn. Oh, dang. Okay, well, that also happens. Alright, and the time it took to dip all 3 of these rows, that first row in the back, nearly dry. This one is 2, the dripping is stopped. So now I can hang stuff on this level so that the drips from up here won't land on that bar down there. And this little last row that I just did, I've already dabbed the extra glue off, and by the time I get that row and that row done, I should be able to hang something under this one too. So pretty sealed. And you see my container has gone down from right about there to about here, going through quite a lot of this stuff. These urchins really do soak it up. pile. Just a few more left in the bowl, a couple here on the table. And you can see quite a few urchins are hanging now and drying. Alright, so it may not look like it, but there's actually 90 urchins there. And I think I managed to get them all dipped and hung in about an hour, hour and a half roughly. I still have a couple of rows that need to be turned. This row, that one, and that one, and then those two guys down there will need to be spun. But as you can see, compared to how dull they were earlier on, look at how much more vibrant the colors are on them now. Isn't that beautiful? Gosh, this one in the back over here, he's about dry, so let's take him down. And he's almost black. Look at that. That's awesome. I'm gonna hang him back up because he is a little teeny bit damp still. But yeah, look at the colors, the tans and the purples and the greens. Oh my God, so beautiful. And I'm just gonna check in on the box that we got of stuff from going to Paso Grill when thousands and thousands and thousands of them washed up. You can see they're getting dry. Some of them look a little squirrely inside. They haven't been bleached or anything yet. The ants have been in and out of these boxes. And I'm going to give them another week or two. And then they're going to get the clean out and Dremel treatment and dipped and hung as well. There we have it. We're all done with them. And yeah, it makes a little bit of a mess. That's why I use that plastic mat there. Here's one of the little guys that's dry. Isn't he cute? So pretty. And all we need to do is just put the top on this. More ready dipped, more urchins. There's some glue already ready to go. And I just leave it in this container with the lid on it. It stays nice and airtight. And I just keep adding more glue and water as needed to it. And there you go. And there we have it. Nice little bucket full of urchins. Look at the differences in the colors on these guys. Look.
Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.